Hey, this is Corey from Woodcraft. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the ROCKPALS portable generator. This is a 500 watt generator, and ROCKPALS sent me this device to do a review on. I did not pay for this, but they did request that I go over all the features and that I talk about the small things like the light. If you watch a lot of my other videos, you'll notice that I always skip over the light. I don't like lights on products. I think this one's a little bit different, but just know that this was sent to me for free. The other thing that they sent to me was a solar panel. This is a 100 watt solar panel for the ROCKPAL generator. Now this I do not have to do a review on. They just sent that to me so that I could do a better review of this product. And the reason that I committed to doing a review on the portable generator is because I see so many comments of people that used to go camping and don't anymore because of the limitations of their CPAP machine, or there are people that want to get into camping but again their CPAP holds them back. And so I think this right here is going to allow a lot more people to enjoy the outdoors and get out camping and do what they love to do or find a new hobby, because this is going to power a CPAP. First off, let's just get into the box before I get too far ahead of myself. The box itself has 4 rubber feet on the bottom. This being a portable generator, I'm sure it's going to be in a lot of RVs, campers, vans, vehicles, and the rubber feet just keep it from sliding around and falling off of shelves and falling off of counters. They are very sticky and they do prevent it from sliding, so I like that feature. On the side you have a large vent which allows the hot air from the unit to escape and cool air to get in. I think we all know what a vent is. The other side is exactly the same, nice large vent. On the back you have a much smaller vent. You have some information about the unit, but more importantly, and maybe most importantly, is there is no outlets. There's no ports, there's no nothing on the back that needs to be plugged into. I don't know how many tools and devices I have where you use them, so you put them on a shelf or a counter and use them, and then they die and you have to flip them over, plug them in. Once they're charged, you unplug them and then you gotta flip them back over. This can all be done from the front of the device, and I think that is awesome. The other thing is on the top here you have a handle for easy moving around. The unit itself is 11 pounds, and I will leave links in the description box down below if you want to pick one of these up, whether it's the solar panel or the portable generator. When I was doing my research, some people call them power stations and some people call them portable generators, so I might flip-flop in this video, but just know it's what I'm talking about. So it's easy to move. In the description, in the Amazon link that I provide, it says 12 pounds, and it's 12 pounds with all the cables and everything that go with this. And so the unit, just this by itself, is 11 pounds, but if you add all the cables and the things that we're going to talk about in a minute, it is 12 pounds. The handle does flip out of the way, which is really nice, and there's also this indent here so that with the handle flipped out of the way you can put stuff on top of here. Now I do not have a CPAP machine, but my dad does, and he was nice enough to let me take pictures of his machine and how it works. And the footprint of this machine is exactly the same size as the footprint of his CPAP. And so we were able to put his CPAP on top of here, and the groove here allows the heat to escape and air to get in. It kind of acts as a vent. And again, it was the same size. It added height, of course. It was a lot taller. But if you have this on a nightstand or a counter, your CPAP, this isn't going to take up a bigger chunk of space on your nightstand. It's going to take up the same space. It's just going to be taller. So I thought that was really cool. Moving to the front here, we'll just go through things in order. This is the charging port. Now there are 3 ways of charging this device. First of which is with a 12 volt charger or cigarette lighter like I called them. The 12 volt port that you find in your vehicle, you can charge it for 6 to 7 hours. So from dead to full, it's going to take 6 to 7 hours to fully charge this unit. The issue I have with this cable is it's so short. For me, I drive a Jeep Liberty, and if I plug this in, this will not reach my passenger seat. And so I can't have this in the passenger seat charging. Luckily, I do have a 12 volt port in the back of the Jeep, and that is where I did all my testing to make sure that it actually did charge, do what it said it was supposed to do, and it does. And honestly, if I were to carry this and actually use this for traveling it would probably be in the back. And I could use this to charge and top off as I'm traveling over distance. 6 to 7 hours though, I can't see running a vehicle to charge this unless you're cross country in a truck driver or an RV or something where you're traveling for a long period of time. Maybe you will use this to charge. But again, to top it off quick, if it's been sitting for a long time and the battery's not 100% and you're going to drive up north for 2 hours, plugging it in to top it off, it's a good option. But again, I wish the cord was longer. The second way, as I already spoiled, is solar. It comes with a solar attachment. If you have a solar panel with these attachments, it will work. You can just take this, plug into it. You aren't stuck buying the ROCKPAL solar panel. There are a lot of other solar panels. The ROCKPAL comes with an adapter kit, so you can use the ROCKPAL solar panel with a lot of other power stations or portable generators, so you're not limited to using ROCKPAL with ROCKPAL. You can use the solar panel for a lot of other devices. You can use the other solar panels for this device. A lot of solar panels come with these adapters. I did a quick search and I noticed that almost all of them do. So this allows you to plug into solar panels, and then you can use the adapters that come with the solar panel to hook up into this, or this hooks into it too. It's just not as nice. I don't know. I don't like that adapter. I like the white adapter. It's just smoother and doesn't feel like it's damaging the port as much. Hopefully that makes sense. The third and final way of charging it is with the wall outlet. And now this is very small, so I can't charge. This is very small. This, on the other hand, the wall outlet, this is a 9-foot cable. And so it is very big. And I like that it's very big because, again, if you're using this in an RV or a camper or trailer, you're not going to have outlets everywhere. So instead of trying to find a spot next to an outlet to put this thing, you can put it where it's convenient, and then the cord will reach. You don't have to buy an extra extension cord. This is 9 feet. You should be able to put this wherever it's most convenient, and then again plug into it whenever you need to. And so I like the longer cords. I wish they would have kept that same mentality for the car charger as well. Anyways, moving on, we have the DC. So the DC looks like it's just labeling this section, but it's actually a button. You push it and then it charges the, well, it doesn't charge, but it turns on the DC outlets. You have the standard 12 volt. You have these smaller ones. I don't know if I'm just too young to know what those are for, or if it's cultural, if there's different parts of the world that use those, but I have never owned anything to use those smaller ones. I've only seen the larger ones. Next you have USB, and so you have one USB Type-C, you have two USB 2.0s, and one USB 3.0. Again, you can't use, so like right now USB is on, this section is on. I can't plug in to the 12 volt DC unless I hit the DC button. So both need to be on in order to use both. And then over here is probably going to be the most used feature. This is the AC. It has a 2-prong plug and then a 3-prong plug. A lot of people were complaining. They wish that it had more outlets on it. But I use this on My computer desk, which is everything, my laptop, my second monitor, my hard drives, the lamp, it's all on a surge protector, and I was able to plug the surge protector in here and it all worked. It all turned on, it all worked. Again, I plugged in my TV, my Blu-ray, and my surround sound, which is all on one surge protector. I plugged that in, and again, all of it worked. And so even though it is only one 3-prong, you can put a splitter on here. I plugged in a fan and a lamp on a splitter, and they turned on, they worked just fine. And so even though you only have one outlet, you can expand it. The next one is the light, and I promised I'd talk about it, so I would. The light button, you press it, and it starts on low, and then medium, high, off. Now, if you've been watching my channel, you probably are expecting me to complain about the light and how everything comes with a light on it and you don't need a light. This is different. I'm glad this comes with a light because, like I said, the people that are going to buy this and use it are going to use it with their CPAP machine, meaning it's going to be dark. Instead of plugging in a lamp and wasting a outlet or wattage, it comes with a very low watt light. So you can turn this on, tuck yourself into bed, you can easily turn it off, and it's nice. The other thing that I feel people are going to use this for is for a blackout kit or a power outage kit. Again, when the power goes out, one of the very first things you're going to want to plug in is a lamp or some kind of a light. And with this, you don't have to. You can simply just turn it on and you can light up a whole room. It is a very bright light. And so you can play board games, read, do whatever it is you want to do, and you don't have to plug in a lamp. It's just built in to the device. And so this is the one time where it makes sense. This is the one time where I'm not complaining. I'm actually glad that it's there. The other thing that I want to talk about is the display itself. And so you have the DC, USB, and AC buttons. When you push the DC on the very bottom, it shows that the DC is on. And so if it's on and somebody plugs in a USB and it's not working, you can easily see which one is on. So the USB has its own indicator, the AC has its own indicator. If your device is not working, you can simply just check to make sure that whatever section you're plugged into is on. Also, if something were to accidentally press these buttons and turn your device on, or multiple, you can see which ones are on. You don't have to sit and try to decode what's turned on and what's turned off. You can simply just look at the bottom, see that the AC and DC are on, turn both those off, turn the unit off. There is no master switch. There is no master on off. You have to use these 3 little buttons. And so I kind of wish that there was a master on off, just so that if I'm traveling and this is in my trunk, I can have it off and it just stays off. Or turn it on and then I can just have access to it. I can turn the DC and AC and whatever I need to, but just having a master switch will kind of be nice. But it doesn't have it. You simply have these 3 little buttons, but you do have the indicator on the LCD screen. The other thing that you have is the battery indicator. Now, the battery indicator has the percentage in very small print. It's very small and hard to see at a distance what your battery life is, but it also has this big indicator with the blue bars, and it has 5 blue bars, each one being 20%. And so at a distance, it's way easier to see those blue bars and seeing kind of how much battery life you have. If it's on the other side of the trailer or the RV, you can easily look and see how many blue bars you have left. And I like that because if the percentage was big, all these numbers would kind of run into each other and you wouldn't really, it'd be hard to decipher what numbers were for what. So I like this display. It's super easy to see at a distance. If you want to know exactly what your percentage, you can get closer and see the percentage underneath. So I like that indicator. On the completely other side, you have watts. And so when you plug something in, it's going to tell you how many watts that device or that stuff that you have plugged in is pulling from the unit. And then in the middle, really big, you have the hours. So it takes the watts that are being pulled out of it and then it transfers it into watt hours, and it tells you how many hours you can pull that energy. And so for me, I plugged in a mini fridge, and I had to leave the door open because with the door shut, as soon as it reaches temperature, it shuts off. And so for me to film, I just left the door open. So the mini fridge with the door open would run 7 hours. And so I knew that because it said it. Just to let you know, everything I did on this video, I went by the display because I don't have 1,000 hours to invest in this. And so I like the hours because that's something I understand. Okay, you can tell me the watts, the voltage, the amps. I don't care. I can't convert that into anything useful. The hours is what I find useful. The watts are useful. At my parents' house, they have a lamp, a 3-stage lamp, and you turn it on low and it takes a certain wattage, but on high it takes much more wattage, like a lot more wattage. And so as I was going from low to medium to high, I was watching the wattage jump up and the hours go down. And so in a blackout situation, in a power outage, I would make sure that that lamp was always on low. Or if I have a fan, same thing. The fan on high uses a lot more watts, like a substantial amount of watts more than low. And so that's good information, that's useful information. And then the hours, again, is useful information. I need to know how long until this thing dies, how long until my fan stops working, how long until the CPAP, right? If you have 4 hours left, you're going to be able to take a nap. You're not going to get a full 8 hours night's sleep with your CPAP if you see a 4 hours on here. So I like that the display is very useful. It seems to have everything you want to know and nothing you really don't need to know or don't care about. I really like that display. Again, the hours is probably the thing that I used the most. What else? When it came to plugging things into it, again, I plugged in my TV, my surround sound, and my Blu-ray, and I was able to get 5 hours. My laptop, my second monitor, my hard drives and everything, I was able to get 6 hours, again going off the display. The reason I trust the display is because I have a weed eater that runs on batteries. I plugged in, it died while I was using it. I plugged it into the portable generator. It said that it could go for 5 hours. I let it run for exactly 1 hour, and when I came back, it was down to 4 hours. And so it's not the most scientific way of doing things, but again, I didn't have 1,000 hours to sit and drain this thing and recharge it and drain it and recharge it. And so I had to trust the display, so take that for what you will. The other thing is it doesn't work for anything with a heat source. I plugged in a heat blanket, that didn't work. I plugged in a Pizzazz pizza wheel, that didn't work. Plugged in a hot shot, which you pour water into and it brings it to a boil, that didn't work. I have a heater, I tried plugging that in, that didn't work. I have this little desk heater, this thing doesn't work. Anything with a heater just does not seem to work. I did plug in a slow cooker. The slow cooker did turn on. I was able to put it on high, but on high it said it was only going to give me 1 hour, which really isn't a lot of time for a slow cooker. So any cooking related, any heat thing isn't going to work. The other thing though that I wanted to bring up, the reason this is here, is there's a lot of devices that I have used have, once they trigger, once they surge, the display starts flashing and then you have to go turn it off, reset it. This gives you one oops mode, right? So I have it on AC right now. I have this heater plugged in. It's not going to work. It's too much power, but turn it on, volts out, doesn't work. This isn't reset yet. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it on a second time, and now it's flashing, and now it's not going to work. Now I have to unplug this, turn it off, turn it back on. I like how it gives me that oops factor. If I have an extension cord running to this thing and I accidentally plug in the wrong thing, it's going to shut off, but I don't have to walk all the way back to the device to reset it. I simply unplug the thing that I didn't mean to plug in the thing that I did mean to plug in, and it's gonna work. I like that feature a lot. I used it a lot. Testing different things around the house. It was nice not having to keep coming back to this thing. The other thing that I wanted to mention is it has sine waves, pure sine wave, which from my understanding means that at 100% it's going to give out the same amount of energy as it does at 50%. It's not going to get weaker as the battery dies. It's going to maintain the same wattage. It's going to the same output regardless what the battery level is at. And so there's a lot of tools that as the battery dies, the tool gets weaker and weaker and weaker. This is not going to do that. It's not the same. So if you run your CPAP, it's going to run your CPAP at 100%, exactly the same as it will at 50%, 30%, 20%. It's going to run it exactly the same. The CPAP runs for 32 hours, again going by the display. And so you get about 4 nights sleep, 8 hours of sleep, 4 nights. If you do have a solar, it would be nice to sleep all night, charge it all day, sleep all night, charge it all day. You'll probably get a lot more nights out of it if you would charge it during the day. But it is quiet, something that I have all these props here to remind me what to talk about. So I'm going to charge this Coleman airbed pump. It's loud. It's the only thing that I could think of that people might understand what it sounds like. So this is charging. Dead quiet. It's not making any noise whatsoever. It is completely silent. And so you can have this right next to your bed with your CPAP running, and it's not going to keep you up. It's not going to annoy you. It's not going to annoy the other people sleeping in the camp or RV with you. You're not even going to notice it. And I think that that's the big thing. A lot of campgrounds and places, the generator, you're not allowed to run it at night. At 10 o'clock, the noise ordinance kicks in, and you're not allowed to run your generator, meaning you can't have your CPAP. This is quiet, and it can be inside with you. It doesn't have to stay outside. It doesn't have an exhaust, or it's not giving off any fumes. And so you're able to use it right next to the bed. You're able to use it all night long without disturbing anybody or getting in trouble for the noise ordinance. And I think that is where this thing is going to shine. Again, people with the CPAP, blackout kits, that's where this thing really makes it worth the money. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is I asked the company, I emailed them and asked if you can charge it and use it at the same time. My thought process was hooking up the solar panel to it, just leaving the solar panel hooked up and then using it as you always, like you would normally. And they said that you can, but it puts a lot of strain on the unit. And so it's going to shorten its life expectancy. And so that's something that you have to keep in mind. You don't want to be using your CPAP with it hooked up to the solar, because like I said, running the solar during the day, using this at night would probably be the best case scenario. But you don't want to keep them both hooked up because again, you're not going to shorten the life expectancy of this. This right here, you can see that the wattage is 4. It can run for 98 hours at 81% battery. It's very cool indicator. And that is all I have. I have all my props gone. You saw everything that came with it. The only thing that comes with it is the unit itself and the 3 power cords. You saw the solar panel and the adapters. That's all I have. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment section down below. If you want to research, make sure to use those links that are affiliate links that help out the channel. And that's how I can afford to keep moving forward. And I can't wait to see you on my next video.